How in the heck are you guys doing today? Let's get a look at a few hinderers. More specifically, my thoughts on the Wharncliffe Hinderer XM-18 3-inch. I've been carrying this knife a lot the past few weeks. It's really grown on me. I wish it was my knife. I know. I've got an awesome friend, a bunch of awesome friends, but my friend here sent me two to do flipper deletes on, and we had noticed, this is what I want to talk about, the detents. It's hard to flip them on camera, but Hinderer has made a nice improvement on their detents from what I can see. These are newer runs. Very nice action. This flips like my detent modded 3-inch. This is the old school one with no logo on it, right? So this is an older generation here. So I had to do the detent mod. I think Hinderer is listening and shipping these guys a little bit tighter than they used to be. And in the Wharncliffe's case, a lot tighter. This one come to me. This one we could easily do a flipper delete on and you could fire it off the stud. No problem at all. Much like mine, I can fire mine off the stud too. Well, if my finger didn't get in the way. I don't want to hit his knife here. So anyways, keep in mind, he told me to carry and use this guy, give you guys my impressions. I really appreciate it. He knows who he is. Appreciate it. And anyways, this one had a super tight detent. Now you can fire it off a stud, but I have a really calloused thumb from playing with knives all the time. I'm sure most of us do, right? So I can fire this, but no, I can't do it more than about 5 times and it'll destroy my thumb. This thing is super tight. I'm going to have to adjust it a little bit. From the few weeks of carrying it, I have broken it in. It is very nice as far as flipping action goes, but he wants a detent, a flipper delete. So we're going to have to adjust that a little bit. What I'll end up doing is pushing that ball down just a touch. But I just want to let you guys know, if you're looking into the newer runs, the 3-inch, seems like he has fixed the detent issue, and there definitely was one, in my opinion. But look how tight this is. You can actually see this catch and pull this lock bar up a little bit. That's no pressure, so you can see I'm not pushing, because that's what a lot of people think. Oh, well, you're pushing that lock bar, pushing the detent down, and you're making it hard for the detent to fire, right? But you can actually see that, no pressure on that. That's good for flipping, kind of. It's still a tough flipper to press down. Check that out. Oh, just in comparison. This has a nice smooth break. Let's see what my detent modded one does. About the same. And now this one actually catches. I had something else weird I wanted to show you guys on this one. And I want to show the owner this video before I actually do the flipper delete, because he may want to send it back to get looked at. Alright. Here's an older run. Notice the lock bar cut out. See how nice and smooth this is right here in that corner. Here is the drop point, slicer grind. These are all 3 inches, right? Look how that comes over just a little bit. See what I'm saying? Yeah, not a huge deal. I wouldn't send it back for that, but check this one out. It's like the mill didn't go up. They didn't meet right there at all. Let's put all 3 of them in frame here. You see what I'm talking about right here? That's nitpicking. These are user knives. They're not art knives as much as we appreciate them as usable art. Understand that these knives are users and meant to be users, but when you're paying even $4.50, which all 3 of these were much more than that, you had to pay the premium if you get them on the second hand, right? That's just how it goes. That's not acceptable. Even for a $250 knife, I don't think that's acceptable. But anyways, the owner can make his mind up there. Just notice that if you're buying aftermarket on the second-hand market, however you buy them, you might want to get a picture of that cutout, because that might bother you. Should be at least smooth like that. Definitely not like that. So nitpicky, yeah, but something to mention. You can also notice that these clips are bent a little bit different. So I think either mine was bent out a little too far, but a lot of these earlier sterile models, I've had a lot come through my hands, through my shop for anodizing work, and they were bent out, way out, like this. They don't come out quite as much on the new generations, which is good because it doesn't stick in your hand as much, which Hinderer is not really a problem anyways, but this does kind of stick out a little too far. That's an easy fix. Take the clip off, put it in a vise, wrap some shop rags around there and kind of bend it back out. But again, you know, maybe you shouldn't have to do that. Now the owner here, I actually have 2 other Hinderer tabs, so we're going to put in here and take these clips all the way off. Flip or delete all the way off, maybe do some anno work, we'll see. Alright, so was this a detent video or Hinderer 3-inch ramblings? I don't know what I'm going to call it. Let's do a little mini review of the Wharncliffe. It's awesome. That's all I have to say. You guys probably know I love Wharncliffe blades for my EDC tasks. Being in the wine business, man, do I pop open a lot of wine boxes. So this point being dropped down so low, and the 3-inch version, very nice. You can ride your finger all the way up top. I hold it like this a lot. And then my guide finger is up here as a guide, and I just poke the point in there and slice the box open. They open mail great. They did anything you really needed to do for my uses. I understand some people just don't like the look of it. I think it looks very aggressive and wicked. The Wharncliffe blade. The owner who sent it to me put on a really nice wicked edge, which I have beat up in the past few weeks. So we're going to have to shine that back up for him. He did a really good job though. Took it down a little bit. I can see he reprofiled it. Might have some tape and stuff on the edge too, but anyways, what a great knife. I will probably pick one up. It's nice to see Hinderers coming back down to where I feel they should be. You know, secondary prices coming down to $500 to $550, usually under $600 even from the dealers now. So that's great. I think they're worth that. They're worth every penny of that. And now when they were $600–700, I've got a video on that from like 2–3 years ago when they were going crazy. Anyways, Hinderers are great knives. I love the 3-inch. I have seen a few people on Instagram get them, and they weren't quite what they were expecting from a Hinderer, because if you've had the 3.5 XM-18, you'll know it's a little bit thicker blade stock, a little bit thicker titanium, and then you get up to the 24, and Hinderer has he matches the blade stock to the size of the knife. So that's what I really appreciate about his different size of knives. So the 24 is even thicker in blade, in titanium, in overall build, not just size, right? So what I was saying is, some people feel, that this is kind of a little bit more expensive than they, wanted to pay for a knife that can cover these tasks. I'm saying it's still a very stout knife. They are a little bit small. Let's see, next to a small Sebenza single. So very comparable in size to the small Sebenza. And the 3.5, I think I have a video on this somewhere. The 3.5 is very similar to the large Sebenza. And the 24 is just huge. It's not like ridiculously clown huge, but it's much bigger than what I would want to carry for EDC. Even the 3.5 inch is a little too large for me now. I tend to go for these smaller, lighter, thinner knives. Knives with a little bit shorter cutting edge that I feel I can control better for my EDC tasks. Not quite as strong if I had to pry something open, but truth be told, I carry my knives and I cut more than I need to pry with them, so I tend to favor the smaller ones now. So that's it. I highly recommend it if you're interested in the Wharncliffe. If you like the looks and you think you would have some utility in this point being so far dropped down. It's like a real large utility blade. I like it a lot. Nice tight detent, maybe a little too tight. If I show these guys off in the next few days, they'll have the flipper deletes done on them, because Hinderer does not make non-flipper XM-18s anymore. Crazy, I know. So now they're only doing flippers, and I think they're trying to tighten up the detents a little bit. From what I can tell, sometimes they can go a little too tight. And I'm sure if I sent this back to them, they would take care of it. So maybe we'll do that before I void the warranty. Also note, if you're going to be picking up one of these, maybe get a macro shot of that if you think that would bother you. That's it, guys. We're going to catch you on the next one. See ya.